Hey everyone, welcome into another episode of the First Issue Club. It is your friendly neighborhood Greg here to give you a little bit of a different intro. This week we will not be doing a normal show. We are getting prepared for Boulevardia, the local musical and arts festival here in Kansas City put on by Boulevard Brewing Company. We will be attending, enjoying some fantastic music from the likes of Hanson, Big Frida, and many, many others. And we'll also be doing some kind of content creation stuff. We'll be doing some videos over on our social media, showing off the festival, just enjoying ourselves, and some Boulevard Space Camper IPA, a juicy IPA for all of you trying to get your juice on this summer. I know I am trying to get that juice body going. So slam into a Space Camper IPA, send yourself to the moon and your taste buds to another dimension. Before I sign off, we will be playing a episode that we did over on the Patreon featuring our good friend Doug, hashtag NJD, New Jersey Doug. He has been in the midst of a journey with CGC, the grading company that many of us use to grade our comic books, trading cards, etc., etc. I won't spoil the story he's going to tell, but it has been a harrowing experience for him and his comic book that he sent in. It was a very high dollar comic book. I will reveal that. And so that's what makes the story all the more titular and gut churning when he gives the details on what he experienced with CGC. And it kind of opens the door to questioning the validity of these grading companies and how well their practices are put into place and what happens when things go wrong and the response from these companies when things go wrong, and is it enough? It was a really great episode. Mike and I had a blast talking with Doug. It's always good to have Doug on the show. He's been a friend for a long time. So we're excited for you to hear that. Over on the Patreon this week, Andy did a quick update on some news and some blood hunt stuff that we've been doing over there, kind of comparing and contrasting the red band version versus the non-red band version. If you don't know what that means, Marvel's been doing like a red band edition of their blood hunt stuff, which makes it like more adult, more violent and stuff like that. So he's been doing a compare and contrast over there. It's been really fun to watch him kind of dive into that. I wanted to touch on real quick before I let you go that a prominent figure in the comic book community passed away this week. Ben Potter, who is the leader, or not the leader, but the creator of Comic Storian, the YouTube channel. I'm sure many of you have watched it. He has over 3 million subscribers to his channel. He has been doing it for over 10 years. He passed away this week, and far too young. And it's been wild to see the ripple effect through the community as we kind of mourn together and kind of comfort one another in this time when, I never knew Ben personally, not even in the slightest, but to, be around to watch his videos. And for some of you who have been watching his videos for over 10 years, it almost feels like he is a part of the family because you tune into his channel to see his content, and you kind of we all form these relationships with these people online that we may not be cognizant of, but we do. And when they are taken away from us so quickly, it kind of leaves a void that's kind of hard to fill and to rationalize. So we here at First Issue Club definitely send our condolences over to the Potter family, and hopefully that can find some peace and healing soon. I know it's always terrible to lose someone, especially in those situations and under those circumstances. I will be the first to admit I am kind of ignorant of comic book YouTube. I mostly just focused on the podcast, and so therefore I am late to the Comic Storian story or his exploits, and I am upset with myself really because I've this week I've been kind of doing a very heavy deep dive into his content and his material, and there's a reason why he's so popular. There's a reason why he has 3.3 million subscribers. He is a fantastic creator. His videos were very well done, very well researched. I think one of the most recent ones he did was a history of X-Men events, which is no small feat at all, and nothing that I would want to tackle ever. But he did it in such an eloquent way without any kind of influence or, you know, perspective that would sway you one way or the other. He just gave you the facts. There's a like no spin zone for comic books, and that's very hard for X-Men. But that was one of his last videos he did, which was just an incredible video. It was fun reminiscing about events that I liked that he covered and that I didn't like, and ones that I just completely forgotten about, and some that I didn't even know. And with X-Men, that's not hard. So, I just wanted to say, in times like these, it's very easy to be depressed. I know I've been open with it on the show. I do deal with depression, and if you are feeling kind of heavy from all this stuff, reach out, talk to somebody. It's okay. You can reach out to any of us here on the show. Just email us and say, hey, this kind of messed me up, and it's like we'll talk through it, and we got to be there for one another, especially in these instances. So hopefully you get some laughs out of this week's episode, and have fun this weekend. Go find some comic book stores, go to the back bins, find some grails, just have a good time. And we will see you next week with a brand new episode. Be sure to check out all of our social accounts at First Issue Club to see us at Boulevardia. If you want to hear more First Issue Club, go to patreon.com/First Issue Club. We have a free tier, a $1 tier, and a $4 tier for all of you budget conscious comic book nerds. We got something for everyone, so go check that out. Go check out our YouTube. We have YouTube videos that we're doing. And until next time, have a good day. Bye. Oh wait, I introduced the Patreon.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, you do the main because I'm too nervous, and I do the Patreon because I seem cooler.
I never knew there was a pattern for this.
Behind the paywall, I'm much more relaxed. Welcome into the Patreon, folks. This is a special episode, a caller-supported episode. If you are a longtime listener of the Patreon, you know that I do a side show with our good buddy Doug, #NJD, called No Strings Attached with Doug and Greg. I almost forgot the name of the show. And in that episode, he divulged some juicy details about a book that he had submitted to CGC that subsequently got lost and has been on quite the journey. And we actually have Doug here live in the studio to tell us the tale of this book. Now, Doug, I haven't told Mike D or anyone much detail about this book, how it was acquired, what car dropped it off, anything. It has been a well-kept secret, and thank you for joining us today to tell your truth and to regale us with your stories. So let's get started, right?
All right, you want me to start at the beginning?
Take us away.
Okay, so I own a comic shop called The Geekery in Matawan, New Jersey. I won't go that far.
What?
I'm not going to go that beginning-y. But so I want to say maybe August or July of last year.
Oh.
That's it. That's the shark. So July or August of last year, someone stopped by and just said, "Hey, do you guys take donations?" And we were like, "Yes, absolutely." He said, "I was on my way to the recycle center with these comics. Would you be interested in them?" And my brother was like, "Of course, whatever's in those boxes, please do not throw it in the garbage. We will take them. Whatever."
So recycle center is not even like a thrift store or a used bookstore.
No.
They're going right to the incinerator.
Yes. Yeah, right into
Okay.
the chipper, basically. So this guy pulls his like Tesla around right to the front door and just starts unloading
There
these
it
long
is.
boxes. Yep.
Oh,
He pulls
multiple long boxes. Wow.
multiple long boxes. So he pulls out these long boxes and I don't know, we'll say he dropped off 4, and then a couple days later dropped off another 3, and then a couple days later like 2 more, a couple days later. Like this was a couple days worth of books. And they varied in like I was joking with my brother. I was like, this dude could be our best friend if we met him. Like
Yeah.
if he ever came in the shop. He had all of season 8 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He had every single Muppet comic that was ever released from the Boom Run that Greg and I talk about. And like just random stuff. Spider Gwen into the whole Spider-Verse run, all sorts of weird stuff.
Wow.
And then
Yeah.
a lot of Silver Age stuff. There were some Captain
And so
Americas.
hold on for 1 second, Doug.
Yeah.
He never told you where these came from, did he?
No. I assumed they were some sort of personal collection, and then I guess I truly I don't know.
He went Bitcoin rich and then
Yeah.
didn't care about his little
Yeah.
collectibles
I have no
anymore.
physical assets.
That's-
I am strictly Bitcoin and Tesla.
He's got NFTs of every single book that was in those boxes. He doesn't need them.
Yeah, he's like, I already
He
have
has the
these as
blockchain.
NFTs. Why do I need them? Yeah. I fucking mined these. I don't need these anymore.
And then
So
he
my-
tried to
my-
explain the blockchain to my brother, and you know, it was
And your brother's no longer with us, and I get it. But, so like,
died of boredom.
so my theory is, one, either he inherited these, and
Yeah.
like needed
It
to,
had modern stuff. Can you? I guess you can still inherit
anyone
modern
can
stuff.
read modern
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
either he inherited these or he is a thief.
We
Of
get
8.
folks all the time. Like speaking of it being inherited, you know, we get folks in all the time that'll be like, my granddad used to collect comics, and he passed away, and we have his collection. We want to. This is like horrible that I'm like, and he passed away. That's not funny.
Yeah,
But
you're like,
and,
so
you know,
Rick
and then
paid
they come
20%
in.
more now.
So you hear like this, my granddad, right? My granddad
Mhm.
collected comics when he was a kid, and then they come in and the
Mhm.
books are like, it's Superman 75, and you're like, wait, how old was your granddad when he
Yeah.
collected these comics? Like,
Right.
he's
You
got
know,
the
a wheel down the street with a stick. Is he that old?
or was he a 90s kid? Because some of these books are like, it's X-Men 1. Oh, it's the Magneto
Yeah.
cover. Okay, great. Like
Yeah.
these books
Cool,
that
dude.
are everywhere. And then other times you hit that there's actual good stuff.
Right.
So this guy's dropping off these boxes, and we're going through them. And the initial batch, my brother, it was like on a Sunday night just before closing. And my brother was like, I didn't really get a chance to look at it. And I was like, okay, I'll go in tomorrow. We're closed on Mondays. I have nothing better to do. I'm like laying in bed Monday morning. And I'm like, I really want to know what's in those boxes.
Yes.
So I
It should have
go-
kept you up all night.
It basically did. So then I get to the shop and I'm thumbing through it. And I hit a patch of like weird horror books. And I go, okay, House of Secrets. And I'm like doing that, like you're trying to remember the numbers. I'm like, I know that it's like some weird number is the first Swamp Thing. So I'm flipping through them and I'm like, okay, 86, 87, 80. And I'm like,
Mhm.
isn't it like 90 something, 93, 92? And 88, 89. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that this book is in this box, right?
Sure.
And then
Yeah.
sure as shit, 90, 91, 92. And I almost
Unreal.
had a heart attack. I called my
Yeah.
brother instantly and I was like, the guy who dropped off the garbage comics to us gave us a first appearance of Swamp Thing. And he was like,
And
how
you
the
would-
hell? Like, it's in, again, a collection that's mixed with modern stuff. And
Right.
I have no
And
idea.
it's like that's what makes me think it's not his personal collection, because he would have known that. Right? Tesla
think.
would have known that
Yeah.
Swamp Thing first appearance was in there.
Yeah.
So
Because there was like softer keys for sure, like the Spider Gwen one, stuff like that. Like I mean, I think I don't remember if that batch had like the first Penny Parker, the like Spider. Is it Spider Verse
Renew
3?
Your Vows or whatever.
No,
Is that what it
not
is? Or
that
is
one.
that
I
a
meant
day?
the Gerard Way robot Penny Parker. Isn't that
Oh.
called Penny?
Yes.
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah. It's a PEN dash dash something like that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there was like some soft keys in it, and then the first Swamp Thing, absolutely insane. So
Was that the
I
only big key book that was in
the
there?
only
or?
like huge thing, the only
Yeah.
huge thing for sure. You know, there was still like there was some like I think there was maybe one or two like low hundred mutant books, maybe.
Well,
I'm really trying to think. There wasn't anything like insane, you know. Like it was like just nice that they were like maybe there were some double digit Spider-Mans in this run too.
yeah.
Because we've
Well,
had
when you see first appearance of Swamp Thing, your blinders automatically go up, and you're just like,
yeah
I'm only focusing on my favorite child, and
yeah.
he will be my favorite.
So then like we had a book club, and one of my regulars he was I told him about it, and he was like, holy shit, he collects, you know, keys and everything, all crazy shit. And he was like, can I see it? And I was like, absolutely. So I handed it to him, and he goes, this looks like I would guess like a 6 to a 7 just in this condition right now. And he was like, I bet if you had it pressed and sent it out, it would come back pretty good. So that was Labor Day weekend of 2023. So that next day, we do book clubs on Friday night. So that next Saturday morning, I'm like, all right, yeah, I should send this out now so that I don't have it in my hands any longer. I'm a clumsy asshole. I'm like, I'll spill an entire iced coffee on it one day if I don't take care of this now. So
Yep.
I gave it to my brother, and I was like, can you take this to the post office? And he said, sure thing, whatever. So I like
Just
checked.
put a stamp on it, mail it out.
Yeah, I'm like, just let's. I like boxed it up in like a million pieces of bubble wrap and everything. So I checked, a couple days later, and I was like, cool, it's been received in Sarasota, Florida. I don't have to worry about nothing. They have it.
It's in God's country now.
I didn't hear a goddamn thing until I like basically came for them in November. And I'm like, hey, I sent you guys this book. Your turnaround's supposed to be like a month if I'm being like generous, right? Like you're basically bragging about how quickly they're turning things around now at this point. You know, back then at least they were. That their website had like, here's the breakdown of their turnarounds at whatever tier and everything. And they were like, well, they said we moved, which I'm like, did they move? That feels like a weird.
I don't know.
But they were like, yeah, we moved, and we have all the books. Don't worry, we got it here. It's in our vault. I'm like, okay. And they're like,
totally
yeah, like
trust
you don't
that
have.
Sentence.
And like the more you think about it, they were definitely like, don't worry, like it's cool. Yeah, we're cool. So then I'm like,
hey,
okay,
shut up. Who sent you?
I let a couple more weeks go by, and then I'm like, it's one of those things where like I would just forget about it, and then I'd be like, oh wait, where's that book that's like, especially if we have like a lean week, and I'm like, oh no one buys comic books anymore, the industry's dying, like
wait, I have my Swamp Thing to save me.
Yeah, okay, hang on. So yeah, then I would follow up with them again, and they were like, oh no, it's totally here, we're just really backed up since that move, we're gonna get to it.
I'm looking at it right now.
Next.
It looks great.
Exactly. And it's like it's sitting right here, it's totally fine. I see the shark stamp on it. Yeah, it's your copy, no problem. So then like I don't know, another couple months, maybe a week or months goes by. At this point, it's been gone for fucking ever. I sent it out on September 2nd. And 2023, Labor Day weekend. So then I messaged them. I think I called them, and I was like, hey, like we've been emailing back and forth, and it just, I need to know that you have the book. Like I got email confirmation from the post office that they delivered it successfully. And like you guys keep saying that you're going to take care of it, and it hasn't been entered into the system. And they're like, oh, okay, you know what? We'll send this to claims because it might be lost. And I was like, no. What do you mean it might be lost?
Whoa.
It says you guys got it. So then after like back and forth for, months on end, someone was like, oh, well, we'll give you $100 credit.
Poof.
And I was like, well,
why
would I
want for the gift shop?
I could send books to get graded to them. Come on. Why else wouldn't you want $100?
$100. Unbelievable.
100 CGC store credit dollars. Not even like
Yeah, it's like funny bucks
real
at
money.
that point.
So stupid.
Yeah. So then I'm like, well, no, I'm not going to take that. And then they were like, so then silence. A couple days go by, and then I get another email. It's basically like deal or no deal, and I'm waiting for the banker to call and be like,
yeah,
okay, how about this briefcase? And
yeah,
they're like,
no whammy, no whammy.
they're like, we could give you $500, and if we find the book, we'll grade it and send it to you. So I was like, no. Then a couple days goes by, and then they're like, are you sure you don't want that offer? So then I literally just said to them, I'm like, listen, I'm not going to accept an offer of less than $1,000. I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm making this up. I won't accept an offer of less than $1,000.
Yeah.
And then like days go by, and the woman's like, all right, well, you take $1,000, and if we find the book, we'll have it graded. So I was like, I'm not going to bite to this yet. I'm like, I don't know. I really want my fucking book, you know?
Yes.
So then, like, this is maybe last month. I think it was the book officially on April 24th. On April 24th, they sent me one final email, and they were like, will you take $1,000? They basically wanted to close it out. And it was like at maybe 8:00 at night, the email was from. And they said, would you accept $1,000? And if we find your book, we'll grade it and we'll send it to you right away. And I didn't say anything. On the 25th, I woke up that morning to an email saying that my book had been entered into the system to be graded. So I'm like, so if I would have accepted the offer 12 hours ago, were they going to just basically be
someone
like...
someone there would have kept it. Yeah,
yes.
Someone there would have kept it.
Absolutely.
That is...
So by April 25th, they finally entered the book into the system.
So it has like a number and everything, and like you are ones and zeros in the CGC network now.
Correct.
Think about the other people who have sent in a one-off book that's could be sold for around $4,000, and people at CGC jockey on the sly to try to pay for like a third of this out of CGC's money. And chalk it up as lost. And then are like, sweet, I just made a cool $3,000.
So like insider trading kind of thing of just like...
Oh, for sure. I mean, they've arrested 2 people who used to work at CGC.
Who have done this already.
And who are doing this already.
I imagine...
And I think because of that now, they were sneaking books out. And I think because of that now, they search people... when they're like entering and leaving, like you have to like they like have everybody like look in their bags before they go in and out of CGC.
It's a little crazy they weren't doing that beforehand. I worked at GameStop in 2008, and they used to make me turn a backpack inside out. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. I can't go into a library with a backpack. It's just like the CGC practices are insane.
So instead of sneaking stuff in and out now, people have discovered a racket. To like do it internally, more or less. I mean, that's my read on it. I just think this is like the details of it are so absurd that I cannot believe that that's all just like happenstance.
It's kind of like comic book laundering,
right?
Yeah. Imagine the poor schmuck who took the like $100 offer.
Yeah.
Of just like
exactly.
Like, oh, well, you lost my book, but $100.
Yeah, people who don't know what they have.
And like, or even do know what they have. They're just like...
And they're just like, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, just like, well, whatever. And like, good on you, Doug, for being like, abso-fucking-lutely not. I will drive to Florida myself and find it.
It was just hard because I'm like, I didn't pay anything for this book. You know, like, I kind of struggled with feeling like, how mad can I be on like a livid, karmic level, you know, like, can I get truly upset that like this, what was handed to me as garbage that was, you know, a true diamond in the rough. Like, can I be that upset that like, I don't know. I just
yes, you can
down on myself. Like, do I even deserve it? Yeah.
Oh shucks, I don't deserve this book.
This is the moment that you work a lifetime for as a nerd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that we've all dug through short boxes our entire lives and scoured eBay for like things mislisted.
Oh yeah, misspelled.
And all this stuff. We spend all that time, and every once in a while, maybe like 2-3 times in your life, you hit on something that's like a great deal. I was messaging you guys the other day that my Night Nurse #1, someone listed a pretty nice looking copy on eBay and had it listed for like $300. I offered them $200. Got it. Sorry, my phone's like interfering with this or something.
Very good.
And had it graded, got a 9.2 back. It's one of the top it's like one of the top 75 copies of this book in existence.
Wow.
And the last sale was like $1,200. So I was like, man, $200 seems like a lot to pay for a raw comic, especially when you're rolling the dice on like maybe a page is missing or a coupon's cut out or something. And then to get that sort of like the validation back that it's like, oh, this is actually like a gem that you stumbled into is like, those are the moments that you nerded out and scoured your entire life for.
I think the closest I have to that of like finding one in the wild is like I found the first appearance of Mr. Sinister for $2.
Oh damn!
Like
that's pretty good.
In a vintage stock like box, and like I got very sweaty and I picked it up and I just like kind of walked to the counter and like I had other books I was going to buy, but I was like, I'm for sure just going up and buying this now. And like you laid on the counter and you're just like waiting and waiting. And then like I slowly realized this is some dipshit 16-year-old who has no idea what this book is. They just need to scan a barcode. And I got that book for like $2 and I just walk out, put it in my car, and I go back in the shop and buy more comics. Oh my God.
Your Harley Quinn's a even better story.
Oh my God. I keep forgetting about that book. I have lost it in my house. It's in a box protected and I've forgotten which box it is. Doug, have you heard this story?
I know I did joke earlier that I'm a long time listener. I guess now I'm like third time caller, but I feel like I've heard this story, but
it's so,
please,
he's
Greg.
tucking in. I went to an auction with my brother and his wife and Caitlin. And I'd never been to an auction before in my life. And it was the craziest experience. There's just stuff littered all over tables, right? Magazines, toys, just junk at this like a moose lodge. And so I found this. It was like a moose lodge. It was like they were just like hosting it. And I found this box in the corner and I thought I saw a comic book poking out of it. And I was like, oh, cool. Like I'll just go look at this or whatever. And I flipped through it, and it's a bunch of, like, Batman adventure stuff. And I was like, oh, man. I was like, hey, Rob, check this out. I bet I find Harley Quinn #1. And I'm flipping through it, and I go, oh, my fucking God, there it is. It's bagged and boarded. First appearance of Harley Quinn in a comic book, just sitting in this box. And, you know, I start sweating. I'm a very nervous sweater.
Right. All your stories.
All my
stories.
I start sweating. It's like when I met Caitlin, started sweating. And so I'm just like, what do we do? Like I find my brother and I find Caitlin and I was like, I want to bid on this. And they're like, well, what's in there? And like I lower my voice to like your super spy level of just like, okay, don't fucking look at the box, but
you know Harley Quinn.
Yeah, you know that fucking sexy clown I want you to dress up as?
Lady Gaga's gonna play her in a couple years.
So I explained to them that the first comic book appearance of Harley Quinn is in this box. And then I explained to them how like huge this is and how much money this comic book is.
Yeah, that floats around $1,000 in good condition.
And
I think.
Yeah, and then Caitlin was like, oh, I don't care if we wait and you try to bid on it. And Rob was like, yeah, we got nothing else to do. I kind of want to see what happens. And the time for the bidding had started. So like at an auction, you gotta see all the wares and then like they start the bidding process at some time afterwards.
Can I say, here's a thing that stresses me out so much about this situation is you can be in an auction place and find something that's like very fragile like that.
Yes.
Like if one person takes it out of a box and like holds it weird to like look at it, and then jams it back down in, it's like you just have to. That's not yours yet.
Yes,
you just have to stand and watch like this 9.6 comic turn into a 9.
Well, thank you for bringing up that point, because here's what I did. As soon as I found that box with like this box had multiple comics in it, other toys or whatever, and it was being sold as a lot. So this cardboard box was being sold as like lot 22. Okay. So I stood by lot 22 the entire time, and no one else walked near box 22 while I was there.
Yeah.
So I knew that the only person that was sifting through this was my grubby little fingers. So I was pretty confident that the book was like in safe hands. So the bidding starts, right? And, lot after lot goes. Finally, lot 22 comes up, and I like kind of make my way towards the bidding thing, and they're like, all right, lot 22 starting at $1. Like $1. Okay, so no one knows what's fucking in here. And they're just like, they have some comic books and some toys. And I hold up my little thing. I was like, $1. And some other guy in the corner is just like, like my kids like that. Like, I'll do like 2. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I was like, this guy must have seen it before I did. And so the guy was like, $2. I got $2. And I go, I'll do 3. And like, we go back and forth. And I finally do 21. I was like, $21. And he was like, 21. And then like, I got really nervous at that point. And he said, he kept saying 21 all over again. And I held my card up again. I was like, oh, I'll do 21. He goes, I already got you, sir, 21. So I outed myself right there. Because any auction
twice in the same one.
Any auction person worth their weight in gold would have seen that and been like, uh-oh, sweaty nerd boy over there is getting a little anxious.
Like that Jordan Peele meme where he's just like completely soaked.
That was me during that process, and I thought I had fucked myself at that point. I'm just like, I've given it away. They know something's in here. And the other guy I was bidding against was just like, never mind. Like, he can have it for $21. And he's like, going once, going twice, sold. And I threw up in my mouth. Because I just realized I had purchased the first Harley Quinn for $21. And the auctioneer goes, all right, here's your card. Like, you won. You can go pay over there at the corner or whatever. And I must have levitated over there because I don't know how my legs were working at the point, because I was there. I gave them cash. I picked up the box and
let's get the fuck out of here.
My wife could have been on fire at that point, and I would have made sure that box got to the car and was locked before I was helping anyone extinguish my wife.
Just give me 1 second. I'll put the fire out. Yeah. I just got to put this in the car.
Babe. Yeah, I hear you. And it was the most exhilarating, nerve-wracking nerd moment I may possibly have ever. But it's a fun story to tell. And I got to share it with my brother and my wife and his wife, and it was just completely bonkers. And I need to find that comic, to be completely honest.
Yeah, totally.
And because I think we're going to do a CGC run here pretty soon.
Yes,
I'm going to send out.
I was going to send some more stuff in. I did, after I heard about this story with the Swamp Thing, I emailed them and was like, hey, what is the situation if you guys...
Hey, where's Doug's comic?
If you guys lose, like, you lost a book of my buddy's that was like a multi-$1,000 book, and he's having some back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And
if he doesn't hear by April 25th...
And I was like, I've heard a couple bad things lately. And I was like, what happens if you guys lose some of my comics? And they wrote me back this generic email that was like, oh, we do our best to make sure everything is in good hands, and sometimes accidents happen. And when that does, we take responsibility for that. And then I emailed them back and said, what does take responsibility for that mean? Never received another email back.
Yeah.
And
that was Dear CGC AI bot. What does that mean?
It's just like, we'll take care of it. And they have this generic wording on like a lot of their stuff. And apparently taking care of it means offering you like
lowball you.
Oh, like a fraction of the potential value of something. Just like not taking your grade estimation as an actual accurate like depiction of what you think you have, and just saying like, sorry, you'll get like reimbursed, but it'll be something.
Andy had a good point of just like, if they were going to continue to give you offers, Andy was just like, yeah, you can offer me what a 9.8 for that book goes. Because as far as either of I know, it was a 9.8. And it's like, I mean, that's the ultimate flex you need to do of just like, oh no, this isn't like some bullshit comic I wanted graded. This was like a relic.
Well, and I think too, they've.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think what really did get the ball moving, was that they were like, oh, what did it look like? Do you have a photo? So then I was like, yeah, I have a photo, and I sent it to them immediately. So it's like, they could see what they were, I guess, looking for or whatever.
Yeah, and they were like, fuck. Like, that's a good looking comic.
So we never said on the podcast anyway, I don't think, what grade you got back.
No, that's the end of the tale that Doug's going to regale us with.
So, like you guys are saying, I mean, you'd heard stories. There's articles all around of like horrible shit happening to some of these books. And basically anyone that I was telling the story to would then forward me other nightmares. And I'm like, this isn't helping.
Yeah, I'm not helping.
So I basically started refreshing the website 1,000 times a day since the 25th.
Oh, no.
And I think maybe 2 weeks ago, it was like, okay, it's in grading, grading / scanning / whatever, encasement. So I'm like, okay, so it's actually on the move. It's still not in their turnaround that they promise on their website. They're like treating it as a brand new submission, basically. So yesterday, 2 days ago, maybe, it said that it was in grading / quality control. So I was like, okay, cool. It's happening. It's Memorial Day weekend now. I'm like, what a perfect way to end this fucked up story that we
Labor Day to Memorial Day,
right in the off season for the shore. We got, we took care of it. It just took a whole off season. That's it. So this morning, I opened the shop. I sat down at the counter, and I was like, oh, you know what I haven't done frantically yet is refresh this
I haven't
page.
panic checked CGC.
Yeah. So I sat there and I clicked it and it said shipped. And I was like, oh shit. So I called my brother and I was like, hey, CGC says Swampy's shipped. So I'm going to open up the submission with you on the phone. And he goes, okay. So I'm like, all right. And I click the button. And it says, off-white pages, 8.5. Okay.
Mamma mia.
Amazing.
And I literally almost threw up.
This people don't understand. Like, obviously Swamp Thing, major character.
Yeah.
House of Secrets, not a incredibly widely produced comic book.
Mm-hmm.
And copies of this are already really rare.
Mm-hmm.
Copies anywhere approaching near mint or even like very fine are like extremely rare. So I looked at the census for this today, which I don't know if you did the same. There are like 75.
Only on like the thing,
There's like maybe even less than 50 copies graded better. Like if you count all the 8.5s out there, there's a decent amount more. But I think there's only like 45 copies on census above an 8.5. So
which is bonkers.
Which, is why this book is like worth several grand.
Because it's like it's a first appearance of a DC character in kind of a non-DC book. Like it's not in Batman or Superman or even a Swamp Thing #1. Like it's a very hidden first appearance. And like those get tossed like by moms and angry dads all the time. And so an 8.5
Teslas.
Tesla daddies, like an 8.5 is unheard of.
Yeah.
Like just randomly to find. I truly can't believe it. It feels like made up bullshit, and it you know what I mean? Like, this feels like a fucking fake story where I'm like, and I sent it out on Labor Day weekend, and no one said anything, and then they were, they like promised me they'd give me $100. The whole thing sounds so fucking fake. It's crazy to me.
It doesn't sound fake because all the details are too insane. Like if it was a fake story, it'd be plausible in some parts, but all this is like, no, No,
But I sent you
don't act like
screenshots.
that. You did. I have receipts. So has that guy? Let's recap a little bit. Has Tesla come back to your shop at all since then?
No,
Okay.
because we
So
would have
he's an
hung
angel.
out. I would have literally befriended this person.
Yeah, you have a
you have
Michael
all the same
situation
taste
here.
in garbage thing as me. Yeah. Oh, it's Michael.
Yes, yeah. This is an angel come to Earth, doing random good deeds, and maybe the greatest car created. I say with hyperbole.
Oh, we love them now. We love them. They're the best. Yeah.
We love us a Tesla. Okay, so he hasn't been back. Odd.
No.
Are you going to sell it now, or is it just like a new mascot of the geekery? What's the plans for this Swampy?
I don't know. We got to sell it. That's a couple rents. That's a bunch of shipments. That's I've hit a point where owning a shop, I was never much like, I'm a collector in the same sense that, like, I don't know, I like to hoard things. I have a bunch of Lego here. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Like, I collect for sure, but like with comics, I'm a reader first. Mm-hmm. I of course want to keep it just to look at it like every day and be like, hi, just like touch it on the wall or something. But I gotta sell that. I gotta make that money. I got two cats and a dog at home.
So selling is the key. That's where we're headed.
Yeah.
So does he do eBay, or do you sell it in the shop? What do you think we do here?
If you can try to sell it in the shop, I think eBay just freaks me out a little bit with people being like, I never got it. Like, eBay does not do a great job of protecting the seller at all. All they care about is the buyer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Macari has done the same thing recently. They changed their terms of service.
Really? Yeah.
Where like the buyer has all the power, and everyone who's selling things is just like, oh, so they can just say they didn't get it and get their money back. Cool.
At some point, my collection's going to get large enough where like it's fun for me to have a thing for a fleeting moment, or like I find something at a really good deal and I have it and it's part of my collection for a moment, and then maybe it'll move out when I get older and I just need like space for more things or want to buy something else.
Yeah.
And I think I'll probably use eBay to sell like 500 and under sort of things. But I would be too clammy selling something that's over $1,000 on
for the first Swampy on eBay. That's treacherous water.
Yeah. Or I mean, even
go to a pawn shop.
You're on the East Coast. I mean, there's like big auctions that are well attended, and they take a bit of a commission off of the items that are sold, but at least like the people here are people who are ready to drop like
serious money,
and everything's going to be handled well. Even like like the Heritage Auctions does a lot of comic book stuff where they'll be like, hey, here's like 100 comics that are going on sale and you can bid on them online or show up the final day and we'll do in person starting from the highest bid that someone last gave online for it. And I don't know, that's another way to do it.
Lot 22 NJD's first appearance of Swamp Thing starts bidding at $5,000.
Legendary copy now. It has a tail behind it.
It's almost as more legendary as the Angry Girlfriend variant that has all the scrolled bullshit on it.
Yeah.
Doug, remind me, did you get this book pressed or no?
No. I did not do anything to it. I don't know why I didn't do anything to it. I know. So then therein lies a potential for further greatness, I guess, or something to that effect, at least. Yeah.
Wow. What could have been? Maybe.
I know.
Would you think you would crack it and press it again? Do you dare?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I should send it to them a second time.
Send it to CBCS.
I was just gonna say maybe CBCS or what's that other one? The third one.
PGX.
PGX. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll send you back a see what they can do. Plastic bag.
They'd give it like a
like
900 grade. Just like that's not a grade.
What grade you get? It says Goku on it. I don't know what that means.
Man.
You got to get it pressed. You got to get it pressed.
No,
I know.
When you could always say when you're selling it, never been pressed.
To let the buyer know that you could repress this.
There's maybe you get more for it, knowing that maybe there's a little bit more to go. What's the difference in value between an 8.5 and a 9? Do we know?
Well, you said there was only 45 issues that were higher than 8.5.
It's got to be a huge jump, honestly.
So, Jesus Christ. Okay, so you texted me the CGC notes on it. Can you remember what they were?
I can pull them up.
Okay.
Because their wording is so weird.
I know, they almost like gaslight your comic book. They're just like,
and like it's kind of
pages.
It's like a run-on sentence that almost doesn't make sense. Very light creasing to cover. This is the run-on sentence. Very light spine stress, lines break color.
Okay.
Like that doesn't.
That's it.
And then very, very light wear to cover.
So, Mike D, what do you think? Would a clean and a press change some of that grading?
Maybe just the creases. Anything with color break is not worth pressing.
Yeah.
But if there are just creases and wrinkling, or the book has like a little bit of a wave to it, they knock you down points for each of those things.
I'm thinking, and this is a theoretical, Doug, you don't have to go get it repressed. I don't want to influence you there. Hypothetically, let's say he does get it cleaned and pressed. I see the potential of that book getting to as high as 9.4 with light color break on the spine being its only
Greg,
notch.
would you be interested in? I have an 8.5. I can take Venmo.
I'll trade you my Harley Quinn.
You take the gamble on it if you feel so confident.
Yeah, dude. I think you're right.
All right, I see what's happening here. All right, fine. Maybe I'm just a dreamer. It is interesting.
I don't think that you're wrong. I just think that it's I don't know. It's just such a fucking gamble, man. So my dumbass on the 25th of April, when I got the alert that it was going to be sent in, I looked for some reason at my membership, and my membership was going to expire on the 26th of April.
Jesus Christ.
So I went in for a penny, in for a pound, and I sent in two signatures to get verified and a 1 in 100 of Void Rivals. So I sent Void Rivals 1 in 100, a first printing of Rat City 1 signed by Erica Schultz, and the Spawn 350 signed by Todd McFarlane. And then my brother's like,
dope.
You got word that they found your book after 9 months and then you sent them more things? And I was like, well, the membership is going to expire and I really don't want to pay them for more membership. He's like, it's $10. Why are you? I was like, I don't know. It seemed like a good idea.
I'm just robbing Peter to pay Paul at this point.
All right.
Basically.
Cover prices, last recorded sales.
Okay, here we go.
8.5, which is what we got. 3.36 thousand.
Hot mama.
And 9.0, $5,040.
Jesus Christ.
A 9.2, $6,900.
Nice.
Let me say this though: the 9.2 sold for 6.9. A 9.4 sold for 5.3 last.
Okay.
Its normal fair market value for a 9.4 is $10,000. The 9.4's last sale might have been qualified. You know how like you have like a centerfold detached or something, but otherwise it's like a 9.4. Their cover price is like algorithm of like pulling in the last sales isn't smart enough to account for like qualified grades.
Okay.
So that's probably why that last sale is
so high.
Is so low.
So low.
So
is there a 9.8 of this book?
There is a 9.
It's a facsimile.
A 9.8 sold on April 4th of this year for $58,800.
You think that was my copy, and they gave me the 8.5 instead?
Yes, they gave you the 8.5.
They were like, let's buy another one.
We've already made $58,000.
They used the proceeds to give me they threw me a bonus in 8.5. Yeah,
that's a fucking Tesla, my man.
Yeah, full circle story.
You just buy a Tesla.
Load those same books into the trunk and drop them off at another comic shop.
Yeah, you have to pay it forward. This is the My Name is Earl list. You got to pay that karma forward. Wow. Okay, just hearing the jump from 8.5 to 9 is striking to me.
Yeah, it's like $1,500 more.
hearing the jump from 9.0 to 9.8, that sounds like a fake story. That sounds like that's like imaginary numbers.
There's probably only like 2 or 3 on the census then, you would guess.
God, is there a world where I have this book and I send it into CGC to get it graded and pressed, where I just like tell my boss, hey, I'm working remote for 2 weeks. I'm getting a hotel room in Florida across the street from this fucking place. Because this is like
the whole time.
Seriously, because like this is like I have to like drive an armored truck home if this book comes back a 9.8.
This is the shitty thing.
Derek opened the package and he hasn't done it yet. I noticed it's on his desk. Yeah. Can you tell him to hurry up?
Tell him his signal's still on.
This is the shitty thing about one of the many shitty things about CGC is they've just got such a monopoly on high-end collectibles and certification of them.
Yeah.
That like obviously grading to some extent is like subjective.
Mm-hmm.
We have to lean on them to be the ones to like give that subjective opinion.
Sure.
And then 2, it's like we have to send them our things that are worth a bunch of money, which is just freaky when they're not good at.
And they're in Florida.
Handling that.
Like, come on, how am I supposed to trust? Mm-hmm. How am I supposed to trust this?
Well, not even that. Think of the biosphere of Florida, and you're dealing with paper.
Exactly. Yeah,
like that's the fucking devil's armpit over there.
The thing that freaks me out is that the vault offering of like, hey, when you slab my books that are worth like 10 grand or whatever, I've got a huge collection and I want them kept in the vault.
Mm-hmm. Walt Disney.
5 years later, who fucking knows if they're still there or if they can find them? I don't know what like the insurance sort of deal is on like the CGC vault, but
it's gonna be double my book.
You could plan on these people maybe just like having stuff there their entire lives, passing away, their family members not knowing that like they've have a
we sent you an email.
Yeah.
We
offered you $100 credit.
Then meanwhile, Joe at CGC in Sarasota just walked out of the vault with your like X-Men 1.
The Magneto cover?
That's right. Your Todd McFarlane Spider-Man 1.
Yeah. Why'd you send that?
This is stupid of you.
So there are only 3 9.8s known to exist. How wild is it that one got sold in April?
Suspicious to me.
It is suspicious.
You should have marked it with a Sharpie like a baby that was just born in a hospital. Like, that's why I'll know it's my baby. Whoop. So this story is far from over, Doug. Because you still have to get it in the mail, and you still have to sell it.
It has officially shipped. It will be in my possession on Tuesday. So, hopefully
I'm crossing my fingers for you, and we look forward to more updates on it. Wow, it's a truly an amazing story of this book and the journey to get it back. Essentially, we had a full on Ocean's 11 moment.
I would have ground my teeth to fucking dust.
No, you would have been the guy driving to Florida, getting a hotel room across the street. Just like, hi, we've just spoke on the phone yesterday. I'm over there in room 224. I'll be here tomorrow in the sequestering next days.
Yeah.
Or sequential next days. Doug, we have more stuff to talk about on the Patreon. Do you want to hang out and just kind of see what we do for the rest of the episode? Okay, sweet. It's like you won a contest, Doug.
Yeah.
Okay. You are doing the Patreon stuff.
We had talked about doing first appearance club. I can't remember if this was born out of. Here's what happened. We thought there weren't any new
comics,
big title first issues this week, and then we found a handful. Yeah. There's like an Archie book out.
There's a couple, but there's nothing really to write home about.
In the interim, we were like, do we cover some old first issues as like a fun episode?
Mm-hmm. This is on the main episode.
For the main episode, or like do some first appearances and do first appearance club or something. So we settled on that. I started reading some. You found a couple books to talk about this week.
Yes.
So I already read a handful of first appearances. So I was going to shoot the shit about those. But one of the things that I thought I'd do first was I think there are 4 components of an ideal first appearance.
Oh, so, okay. In your mind, there has to be 4 points hit to make
the most ideal first appearance.
Okay.
Not to make a first appearance. I don't think any of the comics that I read today are qualify for all 4 of these.
Can we guess some of those, or do you want to just rattle them off?
Yeah, you can tell me what you think.
Real quick. Doug, I'll do 2 and then you do 2 on what you think makes a good one.
Strict rules.
Okay. Well, that way it keeps it going, or else we'll be here all night.
One of them, I do another 2, and then you do 1, and then I'm going to do 3.
One of them is the first appearance character must be on the cover.
That's A1 with a bullet.
We got one, Doug.
Yep.
Okay, Doug, you do one.
You changed your simple rule.
We're going popcorn. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, it's standard. We're going popcorn. We all know what that is. Let's go with we need like a call to action. Like a like
call to action.
What are they? Go back to Greg.
Okay, so to make a good first appearance, they have to appear in costume, but like not as a cameo. Like it can't be a refuted cameo or first appearance. Like their name has to be said.
Bullet number 4 for me is there isn't any question as to which issue is the first appearance. For example, several questionable cameos, 2 issues releasing the same day, an intended first appearance being delayed.
Mm-hmm.
Even more so along the lines of what you're saying is like character introduced as
their alter ego,
normal person, and then like 20 issues later becoming a superhero or something.
Looking at you, Star.
This is the conundrum with the Ripley Ryan Star first appearance, and like even Carol Danvers,
Kamala Khan.
Yeah, right. Yep. Like they're not really superheroes for a minute, and that just kind of like muddies which is the issue you want.
Yeah. Okay.
So you got 2.
We got 2.
Okay,
Doug.
I have one.
Yes.
Oh shit! Wait, that falls under the same thing that you just said. Because I was going to say, like, that like timeline, like they do with Spider-Man in the black suit. Yeah. Shit. Okay, go back to Greg again.
Okay. Okay. So one of character
on
the cover.
One of these is kind of abstract.
Is it
2 to go?
Is it the character?
How much fun is this?
The character can't show up in like a promotional material. A la Miles. People say Miles' first appearances in a preview magazine. Spawn's or Hellboy's first appearances in a San Diego Comic-Con.
I think that falls under our last bullet point.
Okay. That
is that like an cameo undisputed first appearance thing.
Yeah. That has to be a dynamic costume.
My third bullet is the character is an enduring one. So that maybe falls under like that. Like they've got an
Hunter
iconic look. They've got enough interesting things about them that they're a character that isn't just like a fleeting goof. So I might say like Moonstone or somebody like that isn't a character that would like meet that qualification.
Designer.
It's like if the book shows up on Key Collector, you don't want to have to roll your eye at why it's going for $15
Yes.
instead of $4, basically,
Yes.
right?
Exactly right.
Yep.
Exactly right.
It has to have a certain
character where
what the
there's
French
like
call.
there's like four
I don't know what.
There's like 4 different moonstones, and you have the first appearance of like one of them.
Okay.
So there's one left that I think is a key component of what makes a great first appearance.
When you say enduring,
yeah,
I was gonna say the character can't die in like the next couple issues.
I think that would fall under enduring.
Okay. Is this the abstract one that we're trying to guess?
No, that was the enduring. I think was the most abstract one.
Okay.
We haven't said much about the story itself.
The story itself. Ooh.
What happens in the comic book wherein the first appearance takes place?
This one's gonna stump. I'm stumped on this one. We're gonna need to phone a friend.
That it not be like the whack 3rd issue of an event, or
that's a good guess. They have speaking parts.
All right, my second bullet point was the new character gets an origin backstory in the same issue.
Oh,
that we're not just like walking across, punching a guy a couple times, referred to by name, and then like
he's gone.
The character's gone, and then it's like, turns out we love this guy now.
And then they have like a one shot explaining his origin.
Yeah, like a reinvention, and then after people decide that they like this thing, it's like all of a sudden this character has been given depth, whereas before, in its original first appearance, this was just a character that like looked cool and served a purpose of being a cool guy to punch for like a couple pages.
Would you say that Cosmic Ghost Rider did that or did not do that? Because I feel like with Cosmic Ghost Rider
one in particular,
it was like a guessing game. The idea was like, who is the Cosmic Ghost Rider?
Yeah.
So like we knew we were gonna get the origin, but it was like that was half the fun, was figuring out who the character was.
Well, yeah, and he starred in
a Thanos book,
and was enough to kind of be like the starring character to like round out like kind of who he was. I can't remember exactly what happened in that.
He was like a herald of Thanos, and we found out over like a few issues it was the Punisher.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I guess, if you don't know who the fuck Cosmic Ghost Rider is.
Cosmic Ghost Rider, I would say, is not an enduring character.
No, I would say so.
That to me, that's a little more of a fleeting.
Stephanie Phillips just did a series about him. Thank you, gentlemen. Whatever. Did we get all 4?
Just
within the last 2 months.
Wasn't that?
No, it was like 6 months. You're right. Time is but a joke.
I love this. No one calls Greg out on these statements.
Now I'm getting fucking in both ears.
Yeah, those were all 4.
Opposite noise boys.
Yeah. The rude dudes.
We're just trying to shut you down.
I got the rude dudes here. DOODZ, rude dudes.
All right, so today I read, in honor of a movie coming out soon, New Mutants number 98, which is the first appearance of Deadpool. And
a book you owned, then returned, and then owned again.
Yeah, that was a weird one. For anyone who hasn't heard this story, just to be quick with it, I bought Cable's first appearance in like a 9.2 for like $100 on Shortboxed.
Yep.
Just like someone listed it, was in like the newly listed items. I was
the
like,
fraternity for comic books.
I was like, that's a rare fair price on Shortboxed. Shortboxed is normally so overpriced.
Yeah.
And
goosed.
And they sent me my Cable book, and they sent me New Mutants 98, which is Deadpool's first appearance, in a much more valuable book in a 9.2. And I was like, hell yeah. Fuck Shortboxed.
I won a contest. Woo!
Yeah, or like they were doing like a giveaway on like a near mint-ish copy, and I was like, maybe I won the giveaway if I ask any questions.
They'll definitely take it away.
Only problem is it just goes downhill from there. And my wife,
it's kind of like you were trying to almost, like, yeah, no, this is fine. Like it's that,
yeah,
this is for, they wanted me to have this. That's why they sent it to me.
They wanted me to have a little treat. I'm fine.
So my wife guilted me into emailing them.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, no, you weren't supposed to get that. Just so you know, we will be withholding the comic book you're supposed to get until you return that one. And
you're like, well, sorry,
and
sucker.
I was like, I already have it. Like, that was one thing I didn't appreciate. It was like they were trying to strong arm me with like leverage. And it was like, my wife's already bullying me to do the right thing. Like, I don't need you to like lie to me about like where the book I actually paid for is.
Listen, jerk, I'm already on the cross. No need to stab
from
me.
Someone whose opinion I care about. Not,
Oops, blocked. Boop.
So I sent it back, and it tore me up inside. And then I eventually bought one because I've just been trying to complete New Mutants
because you needed to get rid of that ulcer.
Yeah, and I really do think it was one that I was just like, I'll just have a facsimile of this and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But then just like having it in my house and feeling it near me, I was just like, now I've tasted the face of God.
I recently purchased the first appearance cable.
Did you?
I got
you
that
pulled
book.
The trigger.
I got it for $150 shipped.
Wow, way to go!
I thought that was a pretty good deal.
So you were like,
I was talking to
finagling with somebody.
So is
that the right word?
Yeah,
haggling,
finagling. I go through a couple of sellers that I've been going through since COVID of like buying stuff. And
is it slabbed?
It is slabbed, certified. Nice. I'll have to check the grade. I told you what it was. It was like a 9.4.
9.4.
Yeah. So I've known this seller for a long time, and he was just like, hey, I got this like first appearance cable 9.4, and he was like I could sell it for like $200, and like when he said $200, I was like, that seems like a pretty good deal for $200.
Yeah.
So I texted you guys about it, and I was like, what should I do here? And we kind of went back and forth, and then I offered him $150 shipped.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, we can do that.
Right
so
on.
That will be at my house soon enough.
Have you seen a picture of it?
Oh yeah.
Is it the red or the orange cover?
I don't. It's not.
Not sure.
It's first print.
Okay. There's of the first print, there are different hues.
Oh, okay.
To the cover. I don't think the value of one is better than the other, but some people prefer
one over the other.
Vivid.
Let me see if I can find it, and then I'll give you. I'll let you take a look.
All right. In any case, I read New Mutants 98. Deadpool is in 20 panels of this comic across 7 pages. He's sufficiently in this comic book. That meets one of our criteria. He gets no backstory.
No, he just like shows up in a library.
So that's, he just like pops up. He like vaporizes out of thin air, more or less, into a library, punches Cable around.
Roughs him up.
And then gets like caught and sent away. It's a very like nothing appearance, and you don't get much about his personality. Orange. That's a nice looking one. I like it.
All right.
It's direct. If you got newsstand, 150 is a fucking amazing deal.
It's direct. It has Spider-Man's head.
All right, I love it. His powers are not discussed in this.
Right.
He's just a guy that is good at like kung fu in a red suit. Right.
Dynamic costume.
Yeah, incredible costume. Muscles bulging to all hell.
Yeah. Pockets everywhere, pouches, mask, swords.
Yeah.
Hits every 90s criteria. Yeah.
His costume's amazing. He doesn't take his mask off. You don't discuss his identity. Like we said, no backstory, yada, yada. The suit is iconic. Him in the suit is front and center on the first issue, or on this issue. And it says like introducing Deadpool in like one of those like little bubbles. So the cover for this one really works. And I do feel like not that value is like the important part of this, but
it is.
I do feel like if Deadpool's not on the cover of this comic, the value of it like
plummets.
It would not have the fierce fans,
the panache
that it has, or like the clamoring to get this as like a grail in quotes. It would probably be more something like a Deadpool #1 that eventually came out that was like
the one to have,
a one to have, or maybe something on X-Force where he's like makes another appearance. I feel like sometimes the community like zhuzhes what is a cameo and what isn't a cameo because of the cover, or like what's more exciting to have, like that X-Men annual that's Gambit's cameo appearance. Definitely.
I was just gonna say that one. That definitely feels like your perfect example of like why this book is not considered the first appearance.
Yeah, it meets like all the criteria of a normal first appearance. They name the character by name. He's in over 10 panels.
He speaks.
Right.
And he's enduring.
Those are like 3 big things for considering something a first appearance. Meets all of those. He's not on the cover. It's just like this busy, weird Art Adams cover. And then the Uncanny issue he's in, he's with like Storm. Front and center with Storm on the cover, and like that's the one people want.
Yeah.
So we've made this one a cameo in our heads, when in reality, I think that
it's not even disputed at this point if he's named. And to Rob Liefeld's credit, I know he gets a lot of flack. The man knows how to market.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And like he knew Deadpool was going to be huge. He knew if this is going to be his first appearance, he needed to be on this goddamn cover. And like it sold fucking units.
He didn't have as much success with Gideon, the other star, the other headlining new first appearance in this. Okay, and one of the things I'll say about this, just like the story in general, is all over the place in this issue. This is like Rob plotted it, and then someone else like wrote the actual dialogue. But like Richter leaves the New Mutants to go save Rain in Genosha. Roberto's dad gets poisoned by Gideon. There's a couple other weird things that happen in this issue. Like it's kind of all over the place, and the library scene with Deadpool is just like shoved in the middle of it to serve like a later story point. So it does feel like story-wise, this issue kind of feels like a dud, but great. Obviously, like you said, great costume, great cover.
I mean, it's really tough too
because it meets most of our criteria.
You know, they're nearing the end of the series for New Mutants, and they're introducing a new character. It's like watching a TV show and being like, oh, the series finale is in 2 episodes, but this guy just showed up and we're giving him a spinoff and we're going to deal with him for the rest of our lives, basically.
Yeah. It's like if Kramer showed up in the second to last episode of Seinfeld. Everyone's just like, where the fuck has this guy been? This guy is gold.
I think New Mutants really fell apart in the 90s. It is like a solid comic with like a family and a tone and a consistent thing going on, and then it just throws half of the characters away, introduces new costumes, new characters. Their relationships are weird and fleeting, and like any issue to issue, like another character could just like disappear. I as a New Mutants fan, I hated how New Mutants ended, but I understand the fondness people have for it because his style was like a
ushering
statement
in of a new
style
era.
and ushered in a new era, and the end of New Mutants meant the beginning of X-Force, which had an violent, big muscle vibe that like people wanted at the time. So it's a part of it. Okay, so
the second first appearance.
The next first appearance is just like a quick mention from me is X-Force 11, which is
Domino?
Acknowledged as Domino's first appearance.
Okay.
Now, Domino is also introduced and on the cover of New Mutants 98, but is actually a character called Copycat who can disguise herself to look like other people.
And she's disguising herself as Domino?
She's disguising herself as Domino. Domino knew Cable in the past and is like coming back, and in New Mutants 98, Cable is like, oh yeah, I remember you. You're like Domino, one of my compatriots. And turns out this entire time it's someone Gideon hired or someone else hired to infiltrate Cable's, X-Force, and the actual Domino is in captivity. Meanwhile, Copycat kind of like falls for Cable and his mission and all this stuff. X-Force. So this is a thing where this book really doesn't meet a lot of our criteria. Domino is in one panel of this issue, and it is considered, it is acknowledged by CGC as the first appearance of Domino.
No, the first appearance of Domino was the cover where Copycat is mimicking her. This is the Valkyrie Enchantress thing all over again.
Yeah, right. Totally.
While you're in disguise, I don't care. You're depicting that character. That's the first time I'm seeing that character.
Yeah.
Fucking CGC.
So that's a weird one and a bad one. This obviously it's like a middle issue of an X-Force run, and the story's all the fuck over the place. You don't get any details really about like Domino or who she really is, and the single panel thing is just like baffling.
Yeah. Yuck.
All right. Hulk 181 are the other part of our Deadpool Wolverine theme for this. There is a Shauna Marvel value stamp in this issue, which is often cut out, which adds to the allure. Maybe that's like even like a bonus bullet for what makes an amazing first appearance, is something that makes the issue
rare promo,
harder to find, or it has a reason why it's like not complete a lot of the time. Like Poison Ivy's first appearance, I think, is like maybe one of the best ones, because you get like her backstory in it. The cover's amazing. No cameos preceding that. There is a centerfold in that issue that is like always torn out. So if you have one complete, it's like a huge deal. So the value stamps are just like a fun thing to, if it's intact, that just makes that issue cooler.
I have something like that.
Wolverine's in a majority of the comic, which is great.
Yep.
He gets a bit of a background story. His first cameo is like in the issue that precedes this one,
180.
But in this issue, he's referred to as Weapon X. It's kind of alluded to that he's property of the government, and they will be going out and like fetching him once he's like done with his mission, which is to kill the Hulk. So I think that's enough of like a little bit of origin or background for this character.
Well, knowing what we know now about Wolverine, like the setup was kind of incredible.
Yeah, right.
I mean, kudos to Roy Thomas for creating that character and really
Shots
making
fired.
him iconic. Yeah, he caught a body.
In the issue itself, Hulk thinks that Wolverine is his buddy because they're both fighting the Wendigo. Whereas Wolverine has said, hey, the Hulk's already fighting this Wendigo guy. I might as well help him out killing this dude first and then fight the Hulk second. And then the weird ongoing story is that do you know much about the Wendigo?
He's on Alpha Flight.
No, I don't think so. Is Wendigo in Alpha Flight?
They have like a big hairy dude on Alpha Flight.
Oh, Sasquatch.
I think he's like Sasquatch.
Sasquatch. Yeah.
Okay, so the Wendigo is like a curse, wherein someone turns into the Wendigo.
Yeah, and the BPRD handle this all the time.
Oh,
in the Hellboy
is
universe.
It in the Hellboy series?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a woman in this issue who's trying to perform a ritual, and she's like, the Hulk is already a beast. What's the harm if he gets turned into the Wendigo? And so she's trying to like trade the Hulk spirit for her brothers.
Oh.
And then what ends up happening is like some other guy who's in love with this woman trades his soul for her brother's, so he becomes the Wendigo.
Sucker.
We never see Wolverine's full face or get a like actual name or anything. He's just like fully costumed, like not that extent of a backstory, but
does he throw out a bub at any point?
Ooh.
No, he doesn't.
Is he smoking a cigar?
Okay.
Not smoking a cigar.
Damn it.
He doesn't feel like the feisty
Canadian short king that we know today.
Exactly right. Even in Giant Size X-Men, you're like, which is his second appearance, you're like, this guy has a bad fucking attitude and is like tough to be around.
Well, yeah, did you watch any of the X-Men animated series? Like, fucking, he's not fun.
He's such an asshole. And yeah, Giant Size X-Men #1 really establishes that. And yeah, first appearance just like hadn't gotten that far with him or which I can't remember. Was the team on Hulk, was Len Wein writing the Hulk?
Yeah, and Rubenstein was illustrating it, right?
Okay. And then they both worked on Giant Size X-Men.
I don't know that one for sure.
Okay.
That I'm unsure of.
I'm just not sure, like...
I know that all I know is that Roy Thomas created Wolverine. And I think about 85% of every Marvel character ever created. Go ahead, Doug.
Cockrum?
Watch your mouth. This
Cockrum.
is a family podcast.
Wayne and
Right?
Cockrum. Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
That sounds like a litigation team. We here at Wayne and Cockrum will make sure that you get all your money from your car accident.
You know what I saw the other day was a Giant Size X-Men 1 signed by
Roy Thomas.
Glyndis Oliver.
Okay.
Have you ever heard that name?
She is a fairy on Fairy Odd Parents.
This is Len Wayne's wife, who worked in comics, and was like a colorist for a lot of things, but is not credited for anything on Giant Size X-Men #1. And this is another thing that just like blows my mind. Like when people have creators who are not involved in a comic sign the comic. Yeah. Like that's befuddling to me.
Like if Hugh Jackman signed that.
When you do it on a comic that's like like one of the most sought after comics that exists, like what was going through your head that day?
Yeah.
Like that is so maddening.
Where was she where she was able to sign stuff?
I'm assuming at a con.
So, but she's done like inking and something in other comic. Okay. Right. Unless this person has like insider knowledge that was just like, hey, listen, I know you did the colors for Giant Size X-Men. So for me, can you just go ahead and sign this bad boy?
It was a verified signature. I don't know.
Give me a break. All right. Was that all the first appearances?
Well, the last thing I had was Black Panthers just because I read it recently and I threw it on as a bonus. Recently, I don't have the first appearance, but I got the second appearance, which is the origin issue. Mm-hmm. And I will say, and maybe I'm a little biased because I'm holding it in my hand and I don't have the actual first appearance, but I think this is like the much more fun issue because it does like the history of Wakanda and the background of like how you become the Black Panther, what vibranium is. Like so much stuff is established in the second appearance of Black Panther, whereas the first appearance, he's really just like a villain. He's like some cad that's like interfere.
How dare you attack this white family?
That's he's basically just trying to like
protect Wakanda.
Capture and destroy the Fantastic. He's lured them to Wakanda in order to like prove his wiles. And so he sets up these like elaborate traps for them.
He's pranking them. This is Impractical Jokers.
And then Johnny Storm's buddy from college comes along because he's like, I don't know, going to Africa sounds cool.
I ain't got no stinking job.
Such a funny detail. And then he ends up, the moral of the issue ends up being like, you don't have to have superpowers to make a difference. This was the one thing the Black Panther overlooked was just some like human guy with a good spirit can make a difference.
And a can of beer, just like, hey, that guy's a bad guy.
So great first appearance and really fun issue. It's like I've been doing a lot of like back reading on Fantastic Four, and it's just so wild how many bangers there are of just like, oh, this character changed comics, and then like 2 issues later, oh, there's like $1 billion movie made out of this thing, and then like this character changed comics. It's just like hit after hit after hit, just like the first 10 issues of Spider-Man is like every
rogue
villain every single issue until you get to like the Human Brain,
which is like peak.
Is like just like Sinister Six, just like one after another, and they're like all such good enduring characters.
Roy Thomas was on the heater.
We're crediting him for everything now. But the Kirby art in this one's great, really cool cover. This one's got a real mean subscription crease down the middle, which makes it like, not as pretty, but like,
I kind of like that.
It doesn't break the color. It just like is wavy looking.
Folded in someone's mailbox.
Yep, exactly.
Put right in there.
And I almost feel like there's been a couple of these that I've got graded that I feel like they've looked bad because they've got the crease. I almost feel like CGC doesn't ding you as much for that because
there's no other way to get it.
It's kind of like a standard thing with, it's like, we recognize this as a thing that happened. Just like I've got like 9/6s with like dates stamped on the cover.
Sure.
And it's just like, that's part of the distribution process. So like, we're not knocking the grade for like a stamp being on the cover.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. There's some charm in having a subscription crease.
I love this new segment that we created, the First Appearance Club. Because now we get to like grade books on like how well their first appearance was.
Yeah.
And like that makes just it more of an engaging show. Oh, hey, Doug, check it out. Mike's got more goodies.
All right. This is a Carlos Rafael Captain Marvel that I just got in the mail. It was $30 on eBay.
Holy shit.
From our good pals at ComicConArt.com. They have amazing eBay sales and they rep amazing artists.
Yeah, Mike actually messaged the seller and he was just like, naked? Can you make sure she's naked?
And then...
Yeah, we got it.
This is the really cool one. Is that on screen, Greg?
Yep.
That is an unpublished John Romita Jr. page from Fantastic Four's 60th anniversary issue. It was like Fantastic Four 35 of the last run. So really cheap because it was an unpublished page and it came from the inker.
And then what's on this page? What's on the other page?
That page is I want to say it was a Kirkham Irredeemable Ant-Man.
Yes, it was Hester.
Yeah, Hester illustrated it. Andy Parks inks. But who wrote that Irredeemable Ant-Man? Was it? I think it was Robert Kirkham.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But I'm to a point now where I'm just like, I bought a lot of original art and I'm running out of space on my walls. So I thought I'd do a little folio.
He bought a Trapper Keeper for his art.
And now I can just kind of like trade things out when...
That's how we're living over here.
When I want.
We got Trapper Keeper art.
I think that's like a really cool way to further a collection. Instead, like you can only hit so many keys that you love or whatever, but to own an actual like piece of these books, it seems like the coolest way to go.
These things mean a lot to me. I think more so than a lot of the like major issues that I have.
I think it's just because it seems more personal.
Yeah,
like you're looking at someone's hard work in front of you, and you can see like lines and mistakes and how they fix it, and just to know that this process created the thing that you love so much and have spent so much money and time on, you're just like, it's like seeing how the sausage is made.
The charm in the process is really cool. Like I have pages that are like partially inked, partially penciled, full pencil pages, pages that have been like messed up and have like a stat added to them. I've got pages from like when they hand lettered on the page instead of in post.
Jesus.
So a lot of just like really fun stuff to
just like history.
Yeah, right. That's a big
and to have it at like a particular phase like that too is so cool. Like you know, like it's not the full piece yet. You have it at this one like frozen point in time. It's so fucking cool.
It's like when like the villagers of Pompeii were frozen in ash when the volcano exploded. You're just like maybe not the best analogy, but it's just like at that point in time, this is what it was.
But yeah, I'll say too, and I feel like I say this a lot when we talk about original art. Like I just said, I got one of those for $30.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these things, there's comic book art is almost like animation cells in a sense where there's just like it's
so much of it.
It's been so many years. There's so much of it.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody is a rock star artist like Todd McFarlane where like every page is going to be like you can have an amazing page from an amazing issue that like means something to you.
Right.
That's just like an artist that like only super fans are familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Or
the real ones.
Like I said, like I buy like a lot of the like blue line things where like one of the artists is kind of rushing through like I'm just doing quick blue lines on this and my inker will finish it. And then you buy stuff from the inker and you get it for like half the price because it's not the original penciler like doing a lot of the legwork.
Which like what a huge ask of the inker.
I know. That kind of blows my mind sometimes is that like the person who gets so much credit is this person who's just like made like a lot of John Romita Jr.'s work, I think is like this, where he just does like loopy, trashy looking circles. And you can tell depending on who's inking his work, there are times when he draws a comic and you're like, this looks like ass. Like he's forgotten how to draw. And then when other people ink his work, they're like, I know what John Romita Jr.'s work looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to emulate it over the top of these weird little blobs he drew. And
you're fucking welcome, Marvel.
And like finish it and dial it in. And it's like, no one remembers the inker's name.
No, which is like tragic because like we see directly from those images of just like those people saved that fucking book.
Yeah, right.
I'll say one last thing before we end the Patreon. When I was buying stuff on eBay this week, I found a bunch of Greg Horn signatures and like remarks, and it goes to the point that we've always had here on First Issue Club. Greg Horn cannot draw.
Yes.
His remarks are
they bad?
Shockingly bad.
I am not surprised at all. Greg Horn has an art style that can only be described as tracing Maxim magazine spreads.
Ooh.
Like,
yeah.
His style is like looks too real to have come from his brain.
Yes.
All of his characters look like they're doing like some sort of like pursed, horny face.
They all look like Carmen Electra.
Yeah.
Or one of Hugh Hefner's wives.
Yeah. And I'm like, these are from men's magazines. These are like pinups from men's magazines.
Yeah. And then digitally colored in.
And then, like zhuzhed and fixed on top of that.
Brother,
like,
I'll share
like
some pictures with you.
Like a conglomeration of like different model shots to like make a composite thing. That does not surprise me at all. To
rough. It was like a drawing you would get from an inmate. like I haven't seen
picked art as a hobby.
Yeah, it's just like I haven't seen a woman in a while. Yeah. What do they look like again? Like
2 eyes.
Yeah, 2 eyes, 4 boobs. Oh boy, it is ghastly. It is bad.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, Doug, thank you so much for joining us in one of our probably more spectacular Patreon episodes.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep us updated about what happens with the Swampy book. We want to see what happens with firstly if it even arrives, and then sales and all that stuff.
If our patrons want to, like, we all go in on it, and then we all own this comic together.
It's like a timeshare.
Yeah. And then if we send it we send it back in and get it pressed, and then it increases
9.8.
All of our value. Each of the $100 we put in, goes to 150.
This is an investment opportunity here, folks.
Yeah.
DM us, send us your routing number.
Me and Greg will hold on to it for you. Don't worry.
We'll handle all the money. We'll tell you what the grade is. Guys, they just emailed us. They lost it.
It's called multi-level marketing. It's fine. It's fine.
You tell two friends, then they tell two friends. But no, seriously, thank you so much for coming on here. If you like the shirt I'm wearing and want to buy it and some other cool things, Doug, where can they go to buy that?
I mean, you can shoot me a message. You can follow the shop at the Geekery NJ. I post all sorts of fun stuff. You can follow us on every social media thing at the Geekery NJ. You can find the store in person in Madawan, New Jersey, at 19 Little Street.
One day we will make the pilgrimage out there, Doug, and we will listen to Bruce Springsteen. And what do they eat in New Jersey?
Oh, hell yeah!
Oh, come on, Greg.
Hot dogs?
No,
talking down chili
pizza
dogs.
That's better than the city. We got pizza that's better than the city. We got bagels that are better than the city. The shop literally is a 40-minute ride from New York Comic Con. So,
all right,
October will be here soon enough, man.
It's bound to happen.
We've been wanting to go to NYCC for.
I would say definitely in the next 3 years we will be at NYCC, like 1,000%. So we'll do a live episode from the Geekery when that happens.
You got it.
And we'll get just buck wild with Doug in New Jersey. End up on the pier, puking. I'll see where Bob's Burgers is filmed. Anyway, Doug, thanks again. It was great talking to you. We'll check in later. And to the rest of you patrons, have a great week, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.